So this past week I went to a cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia appointment. It was just like the initial appointment where they asked me a lot of questions and gave me some materials. And one of the things they gave me was this chart of negative thought patterns and things that I should be thinking instead. And I just thought I'd make a video where I read it and I kind of rated what I thought was useful and what I thought was not quite as useful. And I don't know, maybe it'll be useful for someone who's trying to understand like what it's like to have insomnia, and at least for me, I can't say what it's like for anyone else and what things might not be useful depending on the person. So the first one they recommend is to replace "I can't stand this," like that frustrated thought, with "It's okay to be awake, I've been here before, this will pass." So I do agree with the part about "I've been here before," because yeah, like when you're sick, like there's a lot of ups and downs, and when you're in like the down part, you've got to remember that it will go up again eventually. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's easy to get through, like, and that it won't cause problems for you. Like, would you tell someone with a terrible migraine, oh, like, you've had terrible migraines before, don't do anything? Because it'll just pass? Like, sometimes you do have to do something, and just because you've been through it before doesn't mean it's not bad. For number 2, they say replace "I've got to do something to get some sleep" with "There's nothing I can do to force sleep to happen, so I will trust that my body will take the sleep it needs." I do agree with the first part. There's nothing you can do to force sleep to happen. So sometimes you just gotta stop trying. But I don't agree with the second part. "I can trust my body to get the sleep it needs." It's like, you do know how insomnia works, right? It, like, by definition, you're not naturally getting the sleep you need. I mean, you could say, well, it's not like you're awake for 10 days and then you die because you literally can't sleep. Like, you'll probably sleep an hour on day 3 at least, but that's not the same as getting the sleep you need. It's like, would you say to someone with anorexia, it's okay if you're only getting 300 calories a day, you're still getting the calories you need, apparently, because your body knows what's best. Like, no, like, they have an illness, they're not getting an ideal amount of this basic necessity. In that case, it's food. Just because they're eating something doesn't mean that it's okay. Number 3 is replace "I'll be a wreck tomorrow" with "It might feel hard, but I have functioned well even when I am fatigued." Like, good for you, person who wrote this, but I don't usually function well when I'm fatigued. I function very badly, and maybe I'm just not trying hard enough. But it's kind of hard when you have a chronic illness, and I can definitely notice that my functionality goes way down when I'm fatigued, and sometimes there's things that I really need to do, but I'm not functioning well enough to do them. So I don't see why I should tell myself that I'm going to function well when I know I'm not going to. Number 4, "This is terrible, I need to take this pill." I assume they mean a sleeping pill. And they say replace that with "I have other tools for optimizing my ability to sleep besides medications." Which, like, I do, but sometimes I still take medication, and like sometimes if nothing else works, then I'll just take my Ambien because that's what it's there for. So I don't, maybe like that's for someone who's really addicted to medication, and I'm not really there yet. So again, that's not very useful for me. Number 5, replace "This is never going to get better" with "One night of difficulty sleeping does not represent the rest of my life." And I actually do like this one because they're right. like, there's always going to be, like, bad nights as you're working through this, but just because one night is bad doesn't mean the one after it has to be. And you do have to keep that in context, that, like, no one night is going to determine your sleep for literally the rest of your life. And I think that's a good thing to keep in mind. And number 6, they say replace I must have 8 hours of sleep with not everyone needs 8 hours of sleep and I can trust my body to take the sleep it needs. Again, I don't care about everybody. I know there's people out there who get like 3 hours of sleep or 5 hours of sleep and they're fine, but so what? Like, I'm not one of those people. Like, I know how much I sleep because I live in this body, thank you very much. And no, I can't trust my body to get the sleep it needs because my body doesn't give me the sleep that I need naturally. So, no, not helpful. Number 7, if I don't get enough sleep, I should catch up by going to bed earlier or taking a nap. They have catch up in quotation marks. Thank you. And they say replace that with, if I sleep less than I think I need, I'll still be able to make it through the day, and trying to compensate for poor sleep only makes my sleep more healthy. Well, I mean, I know sleep deprivation is like one of the cures for insomnia, but like sometimes you do need to catch up on lost sleep because you're human and you need to sleep, and that's just part of it. And sometimes you can't still make it through the day. Sometimes you can't do everything you need to do because you just collapse and you're in too much pain to do anything but lie down. So no, like, don't tell yourself you can make it through the day when you know you can't. Like, sometimes people who are ill are not able to do all the things that they could do if they're not ill. Like, that's kind of how it works. Number 8, they say replace I'm concerned that not sleeping will have serious health consequences with if I am here resting, I'm still healing my body as I might be in some lighter sleep stages of sleep and not know it. Not sleeping does have serious health consequences. It's terrible. It's for like pretty much every part of your body. It's terrible for your skin, for sure. Like, that's one of the first things you notice. And like, their alternate phrase doesn't really address that at all. And no, like, you are not still healing your body the same amount by just lying down as by sleeping. I know the difference. Like, I can lie down for 2 hours, be in terrible pain at the start, be in terrible pain at the end. Like, maybe not as much pain as if I were jogging or trying to do something active for those 2 hours, but still pain. And if I lie down for an hour and sleep for 30 minutes, then I do feel better. But you're not supposed to feel better because apparently feeling better will mess up your sleep schedule. So, like, no, like, just because your body's lying down does not mean it's resting and healing. Not as much as if you were actually sleeping. Number 9, if I feel irritable, anxious, or depressed, it is because I did not sleep well the night before. Should be replaced with, there are many reasons that could cause me to feel irritable, anxious, or depressed, not just my sleep. Well, you know what? There are many reasons why my foot could hurt, but if you stamp on my foot, maybe that's why it's hurting. Like, don't stamp on my foot and then say, oh, you have like weak bones, you've been overstressing yourself. Like, don't try to lie to me because I'm not an idiot. And guess what? If I don't sleep, I'm irritable the next day. And for some reason, I'm always stressed out and irritable on the nights where I don't sleep. And sure, there's a lot of other stuff that stresses me out, but I'm not going to say there's no correlation when there obviously is one. Number 10. If I don't sleep well, I can't do the things I need to do. Should be replaced with, my body has systems to keep me going, even if I don't get as many hours as I think I need. Again, good for you, person who wrote that. You've got some amazing systems that let you do stuff even if you're tired and you haven't slept. I don't live in your body, so I don't know what that's like. A lot of days I can't get all the things I want to get done because I didn't sleep the night before. So no, I don't have amazing backup systems that will let me do everything I want to do. I mean, maybe if someone was literally holding a gun to my head, I guess I could probably go to work for 8 hours and exercise and run errands and do all that stuff because I'd be afraid of literally dying. But I would still be overstraining my body and I'd still have consequences for that. So, no. And finally, medication is necessary to help me sleep, should be replaced with, I now understand the science of how sleep works, and that pill only helps me relax enough to allow my natural sleep system to take over. And I kind of like this one because it's nice to know that my natural sleep systems are still working on some level, even when I have to take Ambien. But on the other hand, it's like, I don't need medication because now I understand how science works. Well, great, like I could save all this money by reading a science textbook instead of taking medication. But I don't think that's how it works. Sometimes I literally can't fall asleep until I take a lot of medication. So whatever it's doing, it's definitely doing something, and it's not just a placebo. So overall thoughts, I guess maybe it's just really hard to recommend positive thoughts for someone else, even if like you have this generalized list that is like based on real data from patients who have a particular chronic illness, because everyone's experience is going to be so different. So I think that maybe it's better for people to just like work out their own positive thoughts and like not rely on the list, because I think like if I try to make myself think some of these because they're just so far out from what I experience, then it's just going to be like leading back into negative thoughts, and it's not really going to help in the long run. So anyway, that was my video, and maybe it was helpful for someone else. Anyway, thank you for watching. Have a nice day.